Artlist.io.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good wherever you're watching me on YouTube from. Welcome back to Sabrina Sense Podcast. This is where I bring a little bit of common sense to the world of work. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I want to talk to you about something that is not some grand earth-shattering discovery or a secret that the universe only whispered to me. I promise. It's not anything like that. It's far more human. And it's truly about the moment that I stopped asking for permission to be free. And that moment that I just decided I was going to take control of my life, start my own business, start my own podcast, and start, frankly, not giving a shit what anybody thought of me. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a hypnosis mindset coach, which, let's be honest, sounds a little like I wear a monocle and twirl a hypnotist's watch, right? Like I'm going to do some stage hypnosis. That's definitely not who I am. I don't, for the record. Not usually anyway. But what I do spend most of my time doing is helping people to untangle the knotted mess of limiting beliefs that keep them tethered to, well, to the safety zone. The shoulds and the musts. I like to think of it as mental Marie Kondoing, where we're just getting rid of the junk that no longer brings us joy or freedom in our lives. And let me tell you, humanity is drowning in a sea of shoulds. You should get good grades. You should find a stable job. You should settle down. You should have a savings. You should buy a house. You should invest. Good grief. It's like we're all reading the same terribly boring instruction manual for life. And the most ridiculous part, we haven't even agreed on the contents of this manual. It changes every generation. It's like trying to build a house on Jello. It's constantly shaking. We're all walking around with these imaginary permission slips, waiting for somebody, anybody, to stamp it with the official seal of approval so that we can finally go do that thing we've been secretly dreaming about. But here's the kicker. There is no permission slip. There is no official stamp. We are waiting for a validation that won't come because it's already exists within us. Right here. Think about it. How many times have you talked yourself out of something simply because you thought you needed somebody else's okay? How many brilliant ideas have you relegated to the someday pile just because you were convinced that you weren't experienced enough, you weren't creative enough, you weren't smart enough, you weren't enough? I see it all the time in my sessions. The artist who's been painting in secret for years, convinced they're not good enough to show their work to the world. The writer with a novel gathering dust in a drawer because they're terrified of criticism. The entrepreneur with a groundbreaking idea, paralyzed by the fear of failure. And the worst part, these are not just isolated instances. They are epidemics. They are running rampant in our schools, our workplaces, our homes. We are a population that is consistently underestimating our value. We're underestimating ourselves. And where does this all come from? It comes from the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we've inherited from our families, the stories we've inherited from society, from well meaning but often limiting experiences. These stories, these beliefs, they become our operating system, the software that dictates how we see ourselves, how we interact with the world, and what we believe is possible. And if that software is riddled with bugs, with viruses of doubt and insecurity, well, then we're basically running on the equivalent of Windows Vista, no offense. Windows Vista, you had your time. So, what's the solution here? How do we uninstall this outdated operating system? How do we finally step into that freedom that we so desperately crave? I'm here to tell you that we have to stop waiting for the permission slip. We have to stop asking and just start being. It's not as scary as it sounds. It's not about suddenly becoming a reckless rebel who throws caution to the wind. It's about finding the quiet, confident voice within you that knows what you want, what you're capable of, and what truly makes your soul sing. It's not about recognizing those limiting beliefs and saying, hey, I see you there. You're not so scary anymore. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I'm getting in the driver's seat now. Now, I can see some of you must be thinking, okay, Sabrina, that all sounds great and all, but how do we actually do this? What's the practical step-by-step guide to becoming a master of my own freedom, an empowered human, if you will? I understand. I like practicality. I like order. Well, here's the good news. There's not a single step-by-step guide that works for everybody. There's just not. Freedom is a personalized journey. It's like creating your own perfect playlist on Spotify or whatever Apple playlist or music platform that you listen to these days. You've got to pick and choose the tracks that resonate with you. But there are a few key things that we can all start doing today. First, get ridiculously curious about your own thoughts. Spend 5 minutes in the morning or before bed simply asking yourself, what story am I telling myself today? Where did this story come from? Is it actually true? You would be surprised at how fast your brain is trying to sell you on a narrative that no longer serves you. Second, start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one area where you feel particularly constrained and take a tiny, almost a ridiculously small step towards freedom. If you feel shackled at work, maybe you speak your mind in a team meeting or ask for a project that you would be super excited to do rather than suffering in silence working on that project that you've spent the last 6 hours on just because it's incredibly boring. If you are lacking creativity, buy a coloring book. It may seem small, but it's about training your brain that you're in control. Okay. And finally, surround yourself with people who get it. Find your tribe, your fellow freedom seekers, the ones who will cheer you on instead of questioning you whenever you do something outside of their box. They exist, I promise. And when you find them, cling to them like a baby koala to its mother. Because here's the thing, this isn't about going it alone. This is about building a world where everybody feels empowered to break free from the shackles of limiting beliefs and to start creating a life that is truly your own. A life that isn't just tolerated, but celebrated. A life where you can be you, fully and unapologetically you. So I'm just going to leave you with a question. What is the one thing you've been waiting for permission to do? I want you to seriously ask yourself, what if I didn't need it? What if that permission slip is completely and utterly useless? It's unnecessary. What if you are more than ready to just take the leap of faith? What would it be like to live as if you were already free today? Because, my friends, you are. You are already free. You just have to believe it. Thank you, everybody. That is the only thing that I wanted to talk about and cover today. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sabrina Sense Podcast. I am encouraging you all to follow, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can be forewarned when another crazy episode pops up just like this. But seriously, please take some time to think about what I've shared with you today. If you need any help, you know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going to leave everything in the description box so that you can find me easily if you need to. But I genuinely am encouraging us all in 2025 to live incredibly free from the restraints of what everybody else believes you should be doing. Thank you again for tuning in, guys. I really look forward to sharing my Flip the Script episode with you, where the amazing Mick Mize will be interviewing me. So stay tuned for that conversation next week. And again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you all have an amazing week. Till next time. Bye for now.
Artlist.io